it doesn't change the way I feel, meaning I still don't like doing dishes. It doesn't shift the emotion into joy, but the awareness and the gratitude gives me a sense of peace or calm. So instead of
Hmm.
being like this, I'm just more neutral because sometimes we just need a baby step up from where we are.
Yeah,
We're not going to go from hate to love
right,
with one journal action of gratitude.
right.
But that journal action of gratitude or those thoughts of gratitude can take us up from being angry to being neutral.
Welcome to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery, where transformation meets action. I'm Eugene Holden. I'm one of your guides on this journey of personal growth, mindset shifts, and deep self-awareness. Each episode, we dive into the tools, wisdom, and strategies you need to break through limitations and step into your highest potential. No fluff, no shortcuts here, just real conversations, practical insights, and a community dedicated to mastery in every area of life. So, if you're ready to unlock your power, elevate your mindset, and create a life by design, then let's get started. Welcome to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. Welcome to the deep end. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery. I'm here with my beautiful friend and guest host, yeah, the Ell Graniel, the fantastic Ell Graniel. How are you today, Elle?
I'm fabulous because I get to be spending time with
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. So, as you may know, folks, that here at Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery, we dive into, what's going on in the world and how we can deal or manage or manipulate or whatever it is that we need to do to navigate this beautiful thing called life. This is what I know, Elle, that in spite of the appearances, it is a beautiful thing called life. It really is. It really
Absolutely.
is. So we were speaking earlier, and I just put out a blog just an hour ago, and it's really about, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on around the world, but I focused it on a lot of stuff going on here in America, people getting shot and everything that's going on. We don't need to label all the stuff that's going on. But it's the question always is, how do we navigate through these times that seem for some people just to be hopeless, Yeah, people losing houses, and then we have, ICE, going in and deporting people. We have people getting killed and people talking about how they it's just so much going on. And as I know that sometimes it can seem a little difficult in trying to keep that vibration, trying to keep my vibration high or keep our vibration high. And that's what's necessary. That's what's necessary. One of the things I said in today's post was, that with everything going on, we can't wait. There's nobody coming from out of the sky to pull us out of this. It's up to us
No,
to do this, right? No one's coming from the clouds. And I may
no.
get some pushback on that, but that's okay. That's the truth.
It's
So,
true. We are our own superheroes,
yeah, yeah,
bringing what we have been gifted to the table every day.
yeah. The thing that we talk a lot about here on the Academy of Self-Mastery is purpose. And we talk a lot about connecting with our purpose and identifying what that is, and then living from that purpose and living in that purpose and all of that. And I am a firm believer, as I know you are, that the purpose allows us or keeps us aligned with who we are and why we're here. And in spite of all the stuff that
Yeah.
seems to be going on, I know that when I stay focused on my purpose, I don't ignore what's going on, but I'm not going to
Mhm.
allow what's going on to keep me from living on purpose.
Exactly. I either crack people up or make them grumpy when they talk about stuff in the news or, negative things and they're getting in this downward spiral, the first chance I get, I'll say, and how is that serving you?
Yeah.
And if they'll pause and think about it, like I said, they either crack up, like, actually you're right. It's not. I don't realize why I was going on about that. Or I get the grumpy side, which says, you need to know what's going on in the world. You can't have your head in the sand. And I say, I don't have my head in the sand, but I am in the sandbox and I'm here to play with whoever wants to play and figure out. And if there's cat poop together, we'll figure out how to get it out of the sandbox.
Right.
But we're not just going to stand around like this and look at the poop in the sandbox. We're going to figure it out.
Right.
So let's do it together
Yeah.
and not by complaining, but by planning.
Yeah. And that's the thing, all the complaining that goes on and what people don't understand, what some people don't understand, which is what I had to learn for myself in terms of complaining. Number one, it just creates more stuff for me to complain about.
Yeah.
But more importantly than that, it has an adverse effect on my body.
Mm-hmm.
It has an adverse effect on the system.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking with someone just a few days ago, or just yesterday. They apologized for for um, complaining. I said, "Don't be sorry to me. It's your body." Now, I don't know how they
Mm-hmm.
took that, but that's
Yeah.
the thing, folks, is that we gotta really be conscious about for me, catching when I'm complaining and then changing that. I came across,
Mm-hmm.
well, that may have been you. I don't remember. Um, but if I find myself complaining and then become aware of that and then find something to be grateful for around that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's helpful. I give the example all the time in my personal life. I do not enjoy doing dishes. And so the thoughts around all of that is I have food, I have dishes, I have
Mm,
water, and it doesn't change the way I feel, meaning I still don't like doing dishes. It doesn't shift the emotion into joy, but the awareness and the gratitude gives me a sense of peace or calm. So instead of
hmm.
being like this, I'm just more neutral because sometimes we just need a baby step up from where we are.
Yeah.
We're not going to go from hate to love
Right.
with one journal action of gratitude.
Right.
But that journal action of gratitude or those thoughts of gratitude can take us up from being angry to being neutral,
Right.
which is actually a few steps.
Right.
So that's the purpose. The awareness helps us come up the ladder where the view is better. We can see more options.
Yeah. Beautifully said. We can see more options.
Mhm.
Yeah. When I find myself complaining, then going with what you just said, when I find myself complaining, I'm not aware of the options. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like that's your truth.
Right.
And through
Yeah.
the word, we're claiming it. By speaking it, we're more than vibrationally thinking and feeling about it. Now we're verbally vibrating and thinking and feeling about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we're affecting other people, anybody who's within our sound vibration, which goes farther. Well, it, the research varies, but our heart energy goes out anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, right? But
Yeah.
our voice
Right.
goes much farther than that.
Mm.
So think of all the people that we are
Wow.
contaminating with our word, those innocent by bystanders by complaining or whatever it might be, right? Talking about other people behind their back, gossiping, any of those types of negative uses of communication.
Yeah. Yeah. So being very aware of what we're saying. Oh, especially when we are saying it to ourselves.
Yeah. Sometimes the words that don't leave our mind have the biggest effect.
Yeah. Say that again, right?
Yeah. And so you and I have been trained in NLP and body language, and I did a course in micro expressions. So we communicate a lot of ways, our tonality and all of that type of thing. And so even though I've been doing this for decades, Sometimes I still, through awareness, catch myself saying something like, well, I should make sure I get outside today for a while. And then I hear it because I'm aware of it. So it doesn't mean I don't ever say should,
Right.
And so then it continues on like this. Well, I should get out today at least for a little while. And I hear that. And then I say, because when I get outside, I feel a lot better.
Mm, yes.
So it's like any closing remarks, counselor, it's your chance to um to redirect what you were saying and end on what you want instead of
Hmm.
what you didn't.
Hmm. And that was beautifully done the way you did that because it changes the vibration,
Mm-hmm.
you know, quickly. No, I should go
Mm-hmm.
outside because I feel so much better when I do.
Yes. Instead of going, oh, I should go outside today. I got to make sure I get out there. Uh, and then not going, oh, darn, that was the wrong language. Like, I don't need to harp on it.
Right.
I just need to know that that was where I was, and this is where I want to be. And it's a nice, smooth transaction from
Yeah.
from from there to here.
Yeah. Al, let me ask you a question as we're, going through these beautiful changes in day to day in this beautiful thing called life on this planet. And with
Mhm.
everything going on, you know, one of the things that I was speaking about today is finding, finding your circle of sanity, which basically I'm saying find a group of people that we resonate with, not to complain and bitch and moan with,
Yeah.
commiserate, but people that are also wanting to and desiring to live from a higher vibration. What's your take on that?
When I heard that earlier when you and I were chatting, I loved it so much because I'll often use the term tribe, find your tribe.
Right.
Yet at the same time, it's really important. So when we think about just visualizing, so there's two doors, right? You're coming down the hallway and you're supposed to go in one of the doors, and one of them says circle of what was it? Serenity? No,
Circle of sanity.
sanity. Okay, so circle of sanity is the plaque on the door, and this other one says pity party. How often do you choose one or
Mm,
the other?
yeah.
And we can remember we can leave anytime and
Mm,
we can go the other way,
yes.
right? But I find it hard to believe that when you're in a circle of sanity, meaning that you're finding people that are matching your vibration, that feel the way you feel, because we all feel differently about different things. But we're being, or I should say, and we're being proactive about it because it's not commiserating. Like miseries in the middle of
Right.
commiserating.
Right. Right.
And so we're laughing, we're talking about other things. We're knowing what is in our circle of influence, what we have power over, what we can do, and we're taking those actions and making that happen. One of my favorite bumper stickers is think globally, act locally.
Yes.
And that's what happens when we get with our circle of sanity,
Hmm.
serenity, silence, like all of these are good.
Right.
Can you
Right.
just sit with people sometimes and just be in the vibration?
Yeah.
That's with meditation or prayer or sitting at the beach at sunset with a few good friends is just beyond heartwarming.
Yeah. Yeah, it
And
is.
so those are choices, right? Instead of just having people over to play cards and smoke and get drunk, maybe that brings you joy. Yet I would ask for you to think about the the vibration, the how is it serving? How does that look tomorrow? All those types of things. So again, when we were talking about climbing up the ladder and the emotions, we can see bigger. So there is fun in hanging out with your friends and doing not so healthy things once in a while.
Right. Right.
And if anything, it's almost kind of to help us remember once a month is enough. Or maybe next month we're going to change it a little bit. We're going to do this, right? And that's when having a good group is fabulous because your communication can be very open and honest.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
achieve so much more together.
You just said a word that is so important in terms of finding that group, right? That circle of friends and circle of serenity and sanity and all of that is, oh, darn, the word just went. Where I can be as honest as I can possibly be without being afraid of being judged. So
Yeah.
that circle, the tribe is for me is where I can, can come to you and say, "El, this is how I feel, and this is what's going on." And you're going to give me either some words of encouragement, or have you
Mhm.
looked at it this way? And it's not a woe is you, and let me get into that pity party with you. This is more of
Mhm.
where we're here to lift each other up, you know. Because
Mhm.
and I realized over the years that I can't always stay in that high vibration by myself
Yeah.
as well as I do it, but I need others there too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I can be honest when I say you're one of those three people in my life for
Mm,
me. And one of the things, and this is a judgment, so forgive me all. You are, I believe, the only man I know who I can tell what's going on in my life, which is not always ideal, and you don't try and solve my problem. You listen.
yeah.
And sometimes you'll mirror back some things that you think would be valuable. Sometimes you might say, have you considered this or have you considered that? But it never has it been, well, that's what happens when you do that. It's never a chastising. It's always a safe, I never have to second guess what I want to share with you. I never have to
Mm,
second guess, should I make this phone call?
mm,
Um, and I have a couple of other people that are just like that.
yeah.
And it's life-saving.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be sitting here for days on end at times going, I don't know what my next step looks like.
Yeah.
I don't see hope. I
Mm,
can't see the future through this. And
mm,
this is somebody who's been trained in this happy, healthy way of living for, 30 plus years. Well, starting back with my fitness career back, in the late mid 80s. And so we're human and it happens.
hmm.
And then when we come through it with the circle, with the help, with the listeners, with the reflectors, with those people, then we're always stronger.
Yeah.
We're always stronger. We have survived it. The older we get, the more we have survived
Hmm.
because here we are. We
Hmm.
clearly survived it. Here we are. Here I am in this lovely home with these beautiful things and, food on my table and a smile on my face and five pairs of glasses and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And, but that doesn't mean that on occasion I don't feel like I know the next step or now what or how can I change this or shift this.
Yeah.
That's where that circle of people come in, not to sit with you and tell you, yeah, life sucks.
Right.
Um, and more to say, yeah, that must suck for you.
Right? Yeah.
Whatever it might be. I mean, it's allowing, and people don't necessarily have this skill. So when somebody says, oh, my car just got a flat tire. I don't know where I'm going to get the money to get a new one because you can never just get one. You always have to get four for some reason, or at least two. Okay, so there they go, right? And it's like, okay, hold on. Let's get back to the tire.
Right.
And that sucks. Having a flat tire and needing to replace it is, not the way you wanted to start your day. So just allowing their experience and avoiding saying, well, one time I lost two tires in some stuff on. Nope, it's not about you. When
Right.
you're that person, it's about them.
Right.
And then you can even say, I have had some experience with this. Would you like to know how I got through it?
Hmm.
Ask for permission to share your story, your experiences. Would you like some thoughts about that, or you just want to sit here a while longer?
Right.
You know? And that's what's really important because we do take it back to ourselves.
Yes.
And with my kids, it's like, do I have permission to speak about me? Because sometimes I just want to brag and tell stories, or that, we'll get together to chat, and maybe it's been a while. It's like, I have so much to tell you. Can I go first?
Yeah.
So to just get permission, because who knows what emotional state they're in?
Right.
Maybe they need to go first,
Right.
and that's okay. So the communication of just empathizing, but
Hmm.
not commiserating,
Hmm. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the differences between those two.
Yeah. Asking for permission. So do you mind if I have an idea about this? Would you like to hear it? And if not, fine. One of the along that same line, Elle, one of the most powerful experiences that I had. I paused real fast because it was, that experience was with the guy that we both worked for back in the day, that tall guy. And and we had he and I had a business arrangement with a client, which wasn't written down, and
Mm,
it turned out that he went back on his word, right? And I was so pissed off about it. And I called a friend of mine to get some prayer around it. And I
mm,
was really upset. And it was the most beautiful thing that she said, and you kind of said it as well. She said, "So do you want to go into prayer now, or do you want to bitch and moan about it?" I'm like, "Well, you know
uh-huh.
what? Let me bitch and moan.
Yeah, for a
All
bit.
right? Let me get this out. So that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. In that's that
Mhm.
place of listening.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the solution first, or do you want to bitch and moan about it? Well,
Hmm.
right now I need to bitch and moan because I'm upset
Hmm.
about it. And so when we give people that choice, to give them the space where they need to bitch and moan, and just
Hmm.
talk about it, great, fantastic.
Hmm.
Because we're going to come back to that center, because that's our natural state of being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for everybody, that's a different amount of time. When you were telling this story, I was getting the visual of the hamster in the wheel in a cage when somebody owns, and they run like crazy. So that's the bitch and moan. Da, 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 da. But then they stop and they look out for a minute, and sometimes they get back in and start going again. But
Right.
eventually they get out.
Right.
Eventually they stop and they're like, okay, I'm good now.
I'm good now. Yeah. Because sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and that for me is what, you've heard the term spiritual bypass, right? Well, that's not a spiritual bypass. That's okay. This is what the heck is going on. Instead of going to everything is good. No, I'm upset. And
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk about this so I can get it out, so I can come back to
Mm-hmm.
being who I'm here to be.
Yeah.
So that's what is so good about finding your circle, your same tribe, finding your tribe, finding your circle of, that
Mhm.
serenity or sanity as well. Finding those like-minded individuals that you can be real with,
Yeah.
without being afraid of being judged less than.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then conversely, being that for someone else.
Yeah,
What an honor that is.
it is. It is. To have that friend, and this sounds contradictory to what we're saying, who will tell you that blue eyeshadow doesn't look good on you, honey,
Oh,
because you don't want to see pictures of you later and go, why didn't you tell me it looked
right,
that bad?
right.
And, we see this with famous people. They do a lot of things, and I wonder, don't they have a friend to,
Just
to tell them not to be so loud or whatever?
yeah,
And so the reason why it sounds contradictory is because there's a really fine line between someone holding you back and making you play small
yeah,
or not show up versus somebody who knows you so well that they want to ask, why are you doing that?
Hmm.
What's the purpose of that? And
Yeah.
it could be something as simple as, whoa, blue eyeshadow today, huh? To make me think, well, yeah, I was kind of thinking. And then I can say, yeah, I just want to, let's just do it. It's in the palette. I haven't used it. But okay. You just, now they feel good. They're not staring at me the whole time going, dang, should I say something? Shoot, every time I look at her, that's a distraction. Da 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 da. Now it's been, and you're just on with your
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And that is being a really good friend.
yeah.
I want someone to pull my coat to something that I'm doing that may not be in alignment or with whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that I have something on my face, tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could phrase that a different way. Okay, thank you. Because I may not be aware, which
Mm-hmm.
probably is rare for me not to be aware of what I'm saying because we've practiced this and we live this for so long, right? I'm
Exactly.
really, really aware of the words that I say. I mean, I really am. Because going back to that, right? Words are powerful. Words are creative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted
I,
to go ahead.
I was just thinking that reminded me of something desire. It was in the glossary from Abraham Hicks with asking it is given, I think. That desire comes from the awareness of something that wasn't consciously known before.
Mm,
So when we desire something, something comes in and we say, I want that.
mm-hmm.
And so then the awareness comes in for, well, kind of analyze it for a second. Well, why do you want that? You know, why do you want that? Um, is it a desire or is it just a fleeting kind of, because people there's a term for it, buyer's remorse.
Mm, mm, mm. Wow. Yes. It's a good
And
idea at the
so
time.
it goes true for even friends. Like sometimes we make a friend and then later go, oh my gosh, this is, can I take this back? Do I have a receipt to return
Yeah,
this one?
right. Yeah.
And that's just because I don't know who showed up. Like authentic me always shows up, but sometimes the more verbose me shows up, sometimes the more reflective me. So my morals stay the same, but how I present will vary. So I might choose somebody who's really kind of loud, and then later it'll wear on me. I'll be like, oh, it's always this way. And so when we're looking at how to be diplomatic in releasing friendships, is number one, to remind yourself that there's a spectrum of friendships.
Yes.
And so release the fact that it's a friendship like what you and I have, or like what I still have a couple friends from high school have, right? My family and I have.
Right.
And then just to start slowly releasing the time with that person. Just start releasing the time. And what is it? Time heals all wounds. But it takes the courage for you to say to yourself, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't realize what I was getting into. Now that I'm
Right.
aware,
Right.
what are my action steps?
Right.
And those are tough. Though
Yeah.
it's not always do I want the red ones or the blue ones, right?
Right.
Some of our decisions take a lot of courage to shift
Yeah.
from where we are to where we choose to be now.
Yeah.
And we didn't know until we got started.
Right. Right. And then it takes us to what we talked about last week, right? It's okay to decommit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I wanted to do this, but I'm sorry. It doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you said, yeah, you're right, I did. And I'm saying this now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that takes courage, And I was one of those, that I would not change because I said this is what I said. I admitted to this. And although it didn't work for me, I would keep going for fear of being judged, for fear of being judged that I was flaky or couldn't make up my
Mm-hmm.
mind or whatever, just whatever that fear was, until I learned through doing this work that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. One of the things that came out of learning that it's okay to decommit, one of the things that came up for me, and this is how I put it, is this, L. If I don't like the music, I'll get off the dance floor
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't work for me.
I've done
And
that.
yeah, and that's okay. But you asked
Mm-hmm.
me to dance. Yeah, you're right. They're not playing the right song for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that happened was decades ago, and it was rap, and the rap song was extremely disrespectful to women in the lyrics.
Hmm.
And I'm out there dancing, and sure, I like the beat,
Right.
but the lyrics were offensive.
Right.
And so I shook my head, and you can't really talk at a club, and I was like, gotta go. And then more away from the sound was like, sorry, that song's disrespectful. I can't be on the floor pretending
Right.
like it's okay,
Right.
like it's okay.
Right. You know,
Physically have that happen.
yeah, going along that same line, back in the day, there was a song, it was a rap song, but it was one that if you when you're at the club and they put that one on, people would just get up on the floor because it was because the beat, it was such a great,
Mhm.
great, great song. And one night I'm listening to the lyrics, and it was a history lesson about about the slave trade. And
Mm.
I'm like, whoa, I don't think you guys are really listening to what's going on here. And it was a great song. Can't Trust That by Public Enemy.
Mm.
Great, great beat to it. But it was that same thing. I'm dancing and I decided to listen to the lyrics. I'm like, ooh, 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 wow, wow. Watching everybody else dancing, they're not hearing this.
No.
So
Yeah.
being aware. And then through that awareness, if
Hmm.
we need to change whatever it is we need to change, having the courage to change that.
Hmm.
One of the things I like to say to my clients is you are the most important person in your life. Not your child, not your parents, not your spouse, not your, no, you are the most important person in your life. Make
Hmm.
sure to take care of you.
Hmm. When I relocated here 4 years ago, it was just me, right? No family, no friends, it was
God,
a
that's 4 years?
complete
Wow.
almost, yeah. And so when it gave me the opportunity to say, who am I?
Mm.
What do I like? What do I want to do?
Hmm.
And over time, I built some friends. It took a while. It was not easy, but I stayed committed because it was what I wanted. And so I have a group of friends, and so some we karaoke, some we trivia, different dancing, that kind of thing. And I got invited to do something called music poker. Well, I don't like poker at all because I need my hands to count. Math is, people think I'm kidding, but it's very remedial, my ability with numbers. And so they talked me into it. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. You're gonna like it. It's fun. Well, I didn't like it. I
Mm.
did like the music part a lot. And that was super fun.
Mm.
And so when we were finished, it was about a couple hours long, and I never thought to just walk out. It wasn't that bad, wasn't disrespectful. But then when we were finished, they said, "So it was fun? Yeah, did you have fun?" And I said, "No," because I was with friends and I could say no, as opposed
Right.
to saying, "Oh yeah, it was fun. Oh good, we'll pick you up next Thursday."
Right? Like,
Right?
oh, yeah.
And I said no. And they're like, what? It was fun. You were having fun. You were laughing. You were getting the songs. And I said, okay, look, it's like this. I really despise bell peppers, or my palate does. My digestion despises bell peppers. I really love cheese. That's an understatement. So if you gave me some bell pepper infused cheese, I would not like it.
Mm,
Just because I like music
right,
doesn't mean that I'm going to like music poker.
right,
And it's just because it's numbers and people don't get it. If somebody says what's 8 plus 7, I gotta pause,
right.
and they're like, oh, it's easy. Everybody has their own uh technique. Oh, you just do this. You put the bigger number on top and then you take away two, and then what's left is your answer or something like that. Everybody has a tip.
Right.
So that was a long story to say that we can, even though those people aren't my best friends, they're my social friends,
Hmm.
to be honest and to say, no, I didn't have fun. Sorry. I tried, you know? And just like some people won't come karaoke.
Right.
Like, well, no, I don't want to sing. Well, you don't have to sing. No, I don't want to hear other people sing poorly. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Right.
Don't come because it's all about singing and singing poorly in many situations. But to me, I love music. So
Right.
just to be around music, it's fun.
Right.
So find what you like, going back to find that circle that you're so comfortable with that you can be honest. They'll be honest with you and you'll still be friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing that I've learned is when I started having the courage to be honest about the way that I felt about things and expressed it from a place of heart,
Yeah,
what I found is that most people were okay with that,
that's true.
right? And so it wasn't about them, it was about me having the courage because my little mind, that little egoic mind would say if you tell the truth, they're not going to like you or whatever the story
Hmm.
was.
Hmm.
And then would go ahead and do it and feel so bad about doing it because I really don't want to be here. But let me
Yeah.
let me force my way through it, and then would beat myself up for not speaking up until I got the courage, built up the courage enough to say, you know what?
Mhm.
I don't really want to do that. Okay, fine. You know, no problem. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no problem? Oh, okay. Thank you. But finding that group of people that you can
Hmm.
do that with. And what I've learned is having that group of people that I can do that with, then I've learned that I can do it wherever and with whoever because I've gotten that courage enough to, oh, really? To appreciate who I am and to love me enough to speak my truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I still work part-time because I love what I do. I'll work forever. I know that. Love this work. And so everybody around me is retired. And so sometimes I say, I can't get there till 4. I have client calls, or I'm on a podcast today. I can't meet you all for lunch, right? And so some people will say, um, oh, you can't ever do anything. You're too busy. And I'm like, whoa. And so it just takes a couple times for me to say, thanks. And please invite me again. Sometimes I'm available at noon and sometimes I'm not.
Right.
And and then to let go of that's their perception, that's their problem. I can't change if they think I'm too busy. I can't change the way they feel about that when they think
Right.
of me, but I can give them more information. Like my schedule is all over the board. I'm not a 9 to 5er,
Right.
at all. And I
Yeah.
I never work 40 hours a week, but compared to you, retired, I work a lot.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So it's communication in those slightly uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Oh, we stopped inviting you because you're always working. Whoa. Okay, let's unpack that just a little bit if you don't mind.
If you don't mind.
Because to
Right.
because to me it's not true,
Right.
but it's true for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a selfish thing. You're too busy to be involved with what we want to do when we want to do it.
Mhm.
Okay, well, again, let's unpack that. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Communication is a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. There's so many
Communication.
ways to take it,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
I've
just be willing.
yeah. I've been a firm believer in communication, but not just that. Because communication, there are two sides. It's the person speaking and then the person listening, right? And I
Mhm.
think for me, one of the important, well, they're both just as important.
Yes.
And there was a point in my life where I thought that if we're not aware, that art of listening will become a lost art.
Yeah.
We have to practice listening. And for me, it was
Mhm.
like, okay, I'll ask a question and I'm already forming in my mind whatever rebuttal I'm going to whatever they're going to say to the question that I asked. I'm like, how
Mhm.
does that make sense? Just really listen to what they're saying. And here's
Mhm.
the other thing, folks. Being in that place of listening is such an honor, especially when that person is talking about something that's really deep.
Mhm.
And one of the things
Mhm.
I have come up when I say, when you really want to get into a nice, heartfelt communication with someone, is to ask them, what breaks your heart? What makes you cry?
Mhm.
Now we get authentic. If they're willing to go there, and if I'm willing to be that place of listening, because I may not really want to hear it, but it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful question. What breaks your heart? And have them talk about it so that I can be that place of listening. And then also, well, this is what breaks my heart. And some of the things that are going on in this nation, right? It's breaking. And
Absolutely.
and I'm not going to I will allow myself to feel that hurt and sometimes the anger that comes from that hurt. And also to go,
Mhm.
okay, all righty, let me pick up the phone. Let me call L. L, this is what I'm feeling right now, so that
Yeah.
we can talk about it so I can get back to being who I'm here to be.
Absolutely. And, what's the story behind it, you
Yeah.
know, so
What's
that
this?
we can get to the root,
Yeah. Get
you
to the
know.
root. Hmm.
As I think last week we talked about asking people, what are you alive for these days?
Yeah.
Because that's a real pattern interrupt question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I recently just did a blog on Substack on the lost art of listening, and you use those exact words,
Wow.
which piqued my interest. And the subtitle is Why Interrupting is Like Not Covering When You Cough. Interrupting is just rude.
Hmm.
Be a
Hmm.
listener
Yeah.
and know that your chance to speak will come.
Right.
You don't have to talk over them. You don't have to interrupt them. And people say, well, but I'm afraid I'll forget. Well, it must not have been that important.
Right.
Well, they were going on, and I didn't want to hear any of it anymore. Okay, then it's like, hold on, you're off on a tangent. Let's get back to the point. Not to just interrupt, you know.
Right.
Well, I'm bored. I wanted to change the subject. Okay, has anyone ever changed the subject on you?
Hmm. Hmm.
Guess what? Sometimes you're also boring.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes we get excited and we talk over each other. That's a little bit different than interrupting.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's one, and this is what I've learned, with Dr. Libby back in the day,
Mhm.
being aware. Are you aware that? So when people speaking and they cut me
Mhm.
off, and I'll let them do it twice, right? I mean, I'll just the first time
Mhm.
I'll just sit back and smile. And I'll let them talk, and then I'll continue saying what I'm saying. And if they do it again, I'll smile and go, "Are you aware that you just cut me off again?" Because most people are not aware,
Mm-mm.
because they want to just talk.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
remember, there's an art to listening, and there's an honor to being in that space of listening.
Yes.
It's an
Of
honor.
quieting that voice of rebuttal,
Yeah,
and just listening to their words and feeling the emotions that are coming with it.
yeah,
What is the purpose of why they're sharing this with me?
yeah.
I'm so lucky to be the recipient of this
Right,
conversation. Not always, but if it's a good friend. And like you and I have gone years without speaking.
right,
Not because we're mad at each other.
right,
Just life, you're in another state, I'm in another time zone. We're doing different things. And then when we catch up, there's no, oh, hey, sorry, I haven't been in touch for a while. We just Eugene, I gotta share something with you.
Right?
All right,
Like,
Elle, hold on. Hold on. Let me
yeah.
have a seat and get my glasses or whatever. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Good, good stuff. Whew. So, folks, find your tribe.
Hmm.
Find your tribe. And where's the other one? Oh, I want to end on this one, L. With everything that's going on in this beautiful, crazy, seemingly confused country of ours, to hold a higher vision for the USA. Yeah. And or wherever you are, because L's not in the USA. But to hold a higher vision for the planet.
Hmm.
Yeah, even if it's just your little small part of the world, but hold the highest vision that you can. Yeah.
And
What
I'd
a
like to layer that with hold the vision with faith
mm,
instead of saying, well, I'd love this, but it's not possible, right?
yeah.
Leave your big butt out of it.
Yeah.
This is my vision. This is this is global. This is beyond me.
Yeah.
I'm part of what this looks like and I'm grateful.
Yeah. I'm a part of what this looks like and I'm grateful.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you, my dear friend.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to next week.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's another good one. Is next week the salad or no?
No, we've got,
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
it's you and I.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful life.
Yeah.
And again, continue to tune in to Eugene Holden's Academy of Self-Mastery and tell a friend and subscribe when you see it on YouTube. Great.
Yay.
As
Bye.
usual, peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings always.